Hey y'all, my name is Christian. I'm a millennial, and this is the Millennial Mind. Millennials get a bad rap for being lazy, non-productive members of society. We also get told that our opinions are warped and don't matter. This podcast is designed to express a point of view on the world as a whole, but from a millennial's perspective. I will talk about love, current events, pretty much everything that comes to mind. Come join me on this journey on speaking my mind, and I would love for you to speak your mind as well. This podcast is sponsored by Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. It gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere, even on platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Download the Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. Once again, you can download the Anchor app, that's ANCHOR, or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of The Millennial Mind. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of speaking my mind, and I hope that all of you are speaking your mind as well. I am going to be a bit vulnerable for this episode again, so bear with me. I wanted to tell you my story about having frequent UTIs. If anyone does not know, a UTI is basically a bladder infection. Some of the symptoms that you have is like a burning sensation, an urge to urinate, but then when you urinate, it either burns when you urinate or, there's not a lot of urine that comes out, even though you feel like you're going to fill up the toilet. So basically, I had a situation when I got married. I got married on Good Friday in 2017, so April 14th, 2017. Was very happy with the wedding, on cloud nine. I was excited about the weekend too, because one of my friends had gotten us a hotel stay for the weekend, or for our wedding weekend, which was super nice. So we were excited to go to the hotel. It was downtown Chicago. We were excited to go there and just kind of relax and think about our wedding weekend. So Friday night, we did not consummate. We were actually up reading all of our cards and opening up our gifts. And then, believe it or not, we went to Walmart too, because I forgot my makeup wipes. I forgot to get some, and I had on a whole lot of makeup, didn't want to sleep in it. So I told my husband, I was like, we're going to have to go to Walmart because I cannot sleep in this. I need some makeup wipes so I can take off all this makeup. It was so crazy. So we went to Walmart, got the makeup wipes. I was able to take off my makeup. But that next day, on Saturday, we went downtown to the hotel that my friend got us. We consummated our marriage, which was lovely. And I was on cloud nine. Sunday morning, we came back from the hotel to the house. And around that evening, I started to feel, a little bit of pain in my lower abdomen. But I'm thinking, maybe I ate too fast. Maybe my stomach is upset. I'll see what happens. Then I had an urge to urinate. So I was like, okay, let me hurry up. Let me get to the bathroom because it felt like I couldn't hold it. So I went to the bathroom. I urinated, only a little bit came out, and then I had that burning sensation. I was like, oh my gosh, please tell me this is not a UTI. So 11 o'clock at night, it was probably between 10 to 11 o'clock at night. My husband, tried to find a 24-hour urgent care because, of course, doctor's office isn't open. You don't want to go to the ER because then that's a $500 bill. So we tried to find a clinic. Thankfully, there was a 24-hour urgent care clinic that wasn't too far from our house. So we went there. The doctor diagnosed me with a UTI. So basically, I asked him, okay, how can I prevent myself from getting this again? He was like, oh, okay, make sure you wash yourself before sex, wash yourself after sex, make sure you pee after sex, drink plenty of water, if you need to, do a cranberry supplement, and you'll be fine. So I was like, okay. He prescribed me some antibiotics and sent me on my way. So, and he also said I couldn't have sex for a week, which was, of course, you're not having sex for a week. It's like, really? Okay. But it probably would have hurt anyway, even if I would have tried. So, went on my way, did my antibiotics for, it lasted probably between 5 to 7 days. And then, I went right back to it, having intercourse with my husband. Next day, after, or I shouldn't say the next day, maybe a month or so later, I felt that pain in my abdomen again, felt the burning sensation, felt the urge to urinate. I was like, man, I have another UTI? So, went to the same 24-hour urgent care. They gave me the same spiel. And I was like, okay. Now, granted, before I got this second UTI, I had done all of the tips that the doctor had given me. But still, I was getting the UTI. So I was like, okay. So, the doctor gave me antibiotics, gave me the same spill he did before, set me on my way. Then I get a UTI the third time. I'm like, now, okay. I did all what the doctor told me to do. I peed after sex. I washed myself before sex, washed myself after sex, made sure my husband was clean before we did anything. Like, what is going on? So, once again, went to the clinic, urgent care clinic, got my antibiotics. It was like the same cycle, and then I was sent on my way. So me and my husband, we did some research to try to find out, why was I getting these frequent UTIs? Like, what was the issue? And so basically what they said was that it was honeymoon cystitis and that it would just go away on its own. But now, we're in year 1 of marriage and I've already had, about 10 UTIs in the course of a year, which wasn't healthy at all. So we're trying to figure out a way to combat that. So what we did find was this herb called D-mannose. And basically what it does is, when you drink it, it hooks on to the bad bacteria. And then when you drink a lot of water with it, the bacteria flushes out. So I tried that for a little bit. And I had a good, I would say, 3 months without having UTIs. And I thought I was completely healed. I'm thinking, okay, no more UTIs. I finally found something that could help. I don't have to take any more antibiotics, and this D-mannose is more natural. So, I won't be doing any harm to my body. But month 4, I got a UTI again. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going on? And I was just, I was so upset and angry with my body, because I'm like, okay, I finally, have a husband that I could, do it with safely. We took all the precautions that we needed to take, and I'm getting these UTIs, and my body, I felt like my body was rejecting my husband, which was sad because, emotionally and spiritually and mentally, we were together. But physically, my body was just like, nope, I don't like this at all. So I felt sad. I felt like I was disappointing my husband. Because, of course, as a man, they're more physical than we are as women. So, he's looking like, okay, when am I going to get some? Now, granted, he was really supportive and sensitive about what I was going through. So he wasn't saying like, okay, when are we going to have sex? But, I know that, that was a need that he wanted met, and I wanted to fulfill that for him because I liked sex. But I couldn't do it because every time I would get a UTI. And I remember having a conversation with my husband that I don't want to have sex anymore because it's just too much of a risk. I'm getting too many UTIs. I'm in so much pain. And, my bladder is like, it's probably like, hey, what you doing? There's too much going on here. So probably around, probably towards the 2nd year of marriage, I decided to go to the urologist to make sure that there was nothing else going on. I went to the urologist. He did a test on my bladder. Everything was okay. And he basically said that, it's just, this honeymoon cystitis, it will pass. But what I'm going to do is do some antibiotic therapy, so that your body could get more adjusted to your husband. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh, that's not the route that I want to take. I don't want to be on antibiotics. Now, thankfully, the antibiotics that I'm on, I only take it after intercourse. So it's not an everyday thing, which was helpful. But still, I don't want to put antibiotics continuously in my body for, 10 plus years. And, my liver is probably like screaming for help. That's something I didn't want to do. But, I wanted to give my body and my bladder a break because I was just tired of the UTIs, and I know my bladder was too. Thankfully, that has helped, and I've been UTI free for almost 2 years now. But what really surprised me was that there were a lot more women going through this than I thought. Like I was telling my urologist, like, I feel like, I took the right precautions with my husband for us to be able to have sex, in a safe manner and without, popping out any kids. Let's just be honest. But I feel like my body is rejecting that. I feel like my body is rejecting my husband. I feel like I'm in the minority as far as this is concerned. Like, I just don't understand why my body is acting like this. And the doctor actually said something that was pretty surprising. He said that there were actually a lot more women going through it than I thought. That it's actually more common. he told me he had a patient that was 2 doors down from me that was in her mid-70s going through frequent UTIs. And I was like, really? It just kind of shocked me. Of course, subconsciously that there's other people probably going through the same situation as you, if not worse. But while you're in the situation, you're thinking you're all by yourself, which is what I thought. It was encouraging to know that there were other women who were struggling with it like I was. But it was surprising that nobody was really talking about it. Like, when I got the birds and the bees talk from my mom about sex, for the most part, and just in case, my listeners do not know, I did grow up in a Christian household, so we were very conservative. We were taught not to have sex before marriage. So my birds and the bees talk was not to have sex because, it's bad, it's against God's word. And, even further, as punishment, you could get an STD, you could get pregnant, all this stuff could happen that you may not want. So my mom told me about that, but when it was time for me to have sex, it's like, okay, lights, camera, action, go ahead and have sex. But nobody really discussed, what happens before sex, what happens during sex, what can happen after sex. And more specifically, what can happen after sex, like, you having a UTI or, the cleanup process after sex. Like, nobody really tells you about that. Thus, you have to kind of find out on your own and fend for yourself and try to figure out, how to make this work. And that's why I wanted to share my story, because hopefully, someone may be able to get help from this and know that there is, a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, your body, this is the way for you to know what your body likes and what it doesn't like. And sometimes you may need a little bit of help along the way. But just embrace your body as it is and learn when your body is asking for help and help it. Me getting the UTIs was my body screaming for help. And I found a way to help it. Now, the antibiotics, that's not the best way, that I wanted to help it. But still, I found something that could give my body a break so it could adjust to my new normal. So if there's anyone that's going through, frequent UTI situations, you are not alone. You are not alone. There are thousands of women who are going through the same thing that you are going through. But definitely go to your doctor and seek medical help and see what your options are as far as lessening the amount of UTIs that you're getting. You are not alone. You are definitely not alone. Certainly seek help and, talk about it. Women, we just don't talk about it because I don't know if it's taboo, or, you see women on TV, they have sex and then they put on their clothes and go to work. They don't wash up or nothing, and nothing, happens to them. But that's not reality. There are a lot of women who are, having UTIs or even yeast infections after sex. It's just crazy. And that's the other thing. That's the other thing I was experiencing too. So it was twofold. So before my doctor started me on my antibiotic therapy, when I was going to the clinics and getting my antibiotics after being tested for a UTI, or after testing positive for a UTI rather, they would prescribe the antibiotics to me. I would take them for a week. Then after that, of course, the antibiotics, they are killing all bacteria, not just the bad bacteria. So now, your bad bacteria is being affected and your good bacteria, which means that your pH level is off, which means that you get a yeast infection. So I had to go back and get something else in order to handle the yeast infection. So it was just an ongoing cycle. And nobody really talked about it, which was frustrating for me. And I had to find out on my own. But ladies, I just want to let you know that you're not alone. Please go to your doctor to see what options you have. Because I know you don't want to be in pain. And I know that, the UTIs are painful. They're annoying. They can be stressful. And some women, they don't have UTIs after sex, but some women may have UTIs, with being in a bathing suit for too long, or because, they wash themselves with soap, a certain kind of soap. It's so easy for, women to get UTIs or yeast infections or have our pH level off. It's just so easy, but you're not alone. Definitely go to your doctor, see what options you have, and, stay healthy. That's the main thing. Has any of you all experienced the same thing that I've experienced, or some other kind of issue, whether it's vaginosis or yeast infection? Let me know. Send me an email at mindofmillennials@gmail.com. You can also share a comment on our Facebook page, The Millennial Mind. Make sure to follow us on our Instagram page, _millennial mind. And of course, before we go, I always have a quote for you guys to just encourage you guys through everything that's going on right now. And this quote is from Oprah Winfrey. She said, "Be thankful for what you have, and you'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough." So I hope this episode encouraged you. If you have any questions, let me know. And until next week, I will see you guys soon.